is recording. Say it's 7 o'clock, and let's just get started. This is the CAC Zoning and Variance Committee. Calling to order. I'm Chair Stephen Hardwick. Just give your name for the.
Sharon Rose. Andrea Purnell.
Michael Hogg.
Gretchen West. Diane Hagley.
And okay. And just Douglas Boyer, Jason Advani, and Mike McLaughlin all have excused absences. Let's move on to the first item on the agenda. Any objections to the agenda? Okay, and other thing I'm going to say at the end is I didn't have time to get. We'll have to put off to next month. Got the discussion of the screening form. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. First item on the draft minutes. Anyone have any issues with the draft minutes? If so, can I have a motion to approve? Take your time if you'd like.
I move to approve.
A second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approved 6-0. Moving on to the demolition agenda. Just to be clear, that we aren't voting on the agenda, voting on whether to approve these demolitions. It's just the 60-day waiting period. Do you have anyone here to speak on behalf of the demolitions? I'll make sure that the Columbia Gas representative knows before I sent it to the person whose name is on the application, but not to Columbia Gas. These are for the Columbia Gas related houses that the CAC has approved demolition, demoing. Does anyone here have any? Let's consider. Do any objection to considering them as a group? Any comments from the committee? Any public comment? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's going to go in their place?
Oh, this is for Columbia Gas. They're building a. They're pumping. I tried to figure out. It's Columbia Gas facilities to, as they say, take the where the big pipes become the little pipes that go to our houses. That go to.
Oh.
Where the giant regional pipes become neighborhood pipes. I guess.
Not much use talking about it then, is it?
No.
No, this is this.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about these houses.
I mean, what can you do about it? You're not going to fight on the gas.
Well, does anyone? Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second, and the motion is to approve waiving the 60-day waiting period. Oh, let's do.
Yes.
Yes, approved. Recommend to the CAC to vote 7-0. And just for the CAC, 6-0, excuse me, thank you. The CAC did spend a lot of time on this and recommended approval of it. Recommended approval of the overall project. Let's see, moving on to the variance agenda. We have 2 items on the variance agenda. The first one is BZA 24090, 2950 North High. This is not actually a variance, it's a special permit for non-medical marijuana dispensary. And I said Harvest, Ohio. I realized I should have said True Leaf instead of Harvest, Ohio.
It's
So the way you do this is you have the floor, then we have the commissioner from the district wants to talk. I don't see him here. We do questions from the committee. Then there's public comment, and depending on how much comment there is, either we'll ask you can either respond right away or we'll ask you to wait till the end. But anyone here to speak, you'll get a chance to speak. And then it comes back to the committee. So you have the floor. Please give your name and.
great.
Oh, let me find your presentation.
I guess stand over.
Sit. You can just.
Yeah. So.
Hover.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We'll hover. So my name is Greg Dorosby. I'm with Ice Miller. I represent True Leaf, which is the owner of Harvest Ohio LLC, which is the licensed dispensary located in the district, and that we're talking about the special permit application today. Andrew?
Yeah, so thank you for having us. My name's Andrew Bauer. I'm the Government Relations Manager for TrueLeaf. We acquired this site back in May. Sorry, is there like a clicker for this slide?
Well,
I'm sorry.
you know, you can use,
Okay.
this is the mouse. You
I'm
want
gonna give it a shot.
And that. Right, let me get you to
Okay.
okay, now you're on there.
Alright.
The mouse is on. See if I-
There we go. All right, perfect. So a little bit about TrueLeaf. We are the largest cannabis retailer in the country. Our main hubs are Southwest, Southeast, and Northeast. Southwest being Arizona, Southeast being Florida, and then the Northeast is kind of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland. So those are kind of the hubs. The main hub is Florida. In Florida, we have 140 plus dispensaries there. So that's the largest hub there. We're also the largest operator in Arizona with 21 dispensaries. We acquired Harvest of Ohio back in May. Before TrueLeaf acquired, Harvest of Ohio has been operating at this location since August of 2021, selling medical marijuana. A little bit about just the project itself. This is Columbus High Street, 2950 North High Street. It's kind of a special process we're going through this as we're already an operating store. It's already selling adult use marijuana. It's already selling medical marijuana. Hours of operation, Monday to Saturday, 9 to 7, Sunday 10 to 5. We put in the emergency contact as part of the use permit there. So that's our GM at the store. That's the front of the store there. And then just for reference, there's High Street, and then it comes off of Crestview right there. So it takes that corner lot right there. Just a couple kind of closer pictures of the front, and then the inside. Because we're still operating under medical rules in Ohio, there's not a lot of advertising or picture taking allowed. So I don't have a great like interior floor view of the store just because of the rules. So this is just kind of more of like, here's our staff and here's the front. This is the floor plan of the store. So this is the front door right there. You come in, somebody's gonna greet you there, you hand them your ID, verify you're 21 plus or you're a medical patient, and then they send you through these doors right here. So this is the actual sales floor right here. One thing that's really unique about cannabis dispensaries compared to like a liquor store is when you're on the sales floor, they'll be packaging and things out. All those are empty. It's either a jar or a cardboard box. They'll give you information, things like that. But if you're in there with bad intentions of just, trying to fill your pockets, you're taking empty boxes. So that's a little bit different compared to a liquor store where the bottles are obviously full on the shelf and you help yourself. So once you come in through here, this is the sales counter here. So you'll work with a patient care specialist. They'll get you your product. They check your ID again, then they get your product. So your ID is checked twice before you are handed anything in our stores. So it's just that age verification, honestly, in cannabis is one of the #1 kind of hot topic things, because it's a very easy thing for the state to be like, hey, we caught you 3 times selling to 17-year-olds, you lose your license, and depending on what state you're in, that's a multi-million-dollar mistake that honestly we can't afford. This is a little bit more of that security. A couple of the other things that kind of important that is again unique to cannabis, we follow the state rules. State rules require a lot of exterior cameras, a lot of monitoring. So there's not a security guard on site, but what there is that building is covered in, say there are video surveillance that's actually covered 24/7 back, we call it the top, which is in Florida. So there's somebody actively monitoring cameras all the time. So if there's a motion sensor that goes off at night or something, there's always somebody there looking at, do we need to deploy or call police, call fire, anything like that. The other unique thing, because of the cameras that we use, we honestly end up working with police quite often to support their other crimes that are happening around our store. This is a Phoenix example, but somebody was robbing the Blimpie next to us, and Blimpie does not have the security that a cannabis store does, and so that we worked with law enforcement. They actually reviewed our footage, and we're able to identify the person. So that collaboration is kind of key for us. We know what cannabis is, we know the history of it, we know the perception of it, but because of that, we work so closely with law enforcement that they rely on us to help them, you know, and it's a good, just mutual benefit relationship there.
I think I can
Alright.
see if I can put that.
This is just a little bit deeper dive into age verification. If anybody really wants to go deep in age verification, we can get into it. But again, this is just that really important step for us. We don't have the luxury of Circle K or 7-Eleven where they can get slapped with a fine if they get caught selling, you know, they didn't ID somebody. You pretty quickly lose a license in cannabis and you lose your reputation with the state pretty quickly, so it is very important to us. That's why I included it here. Oh, I got it. Some of the the benefits of cannabis to the community. We found across the country, the people that come into our stores like seeing people from their area. So the employment really does focus on local. And I was at the store today. If you stand there and watch people come in and out of the store, you're gonna see everybody from the 22-year-old that is there for an adult use product to the 70-year-old that gets there for some pain medicine or to help them sleep. So they like seeing all those faces. So like this is a picture from the store. We have a diverse community of employees. And that just is a great opportunity for people to come in and start a career in cannabis. Another big thing, cannabis is a community. They are people in cannabis, they do call themselves a cannabis community, so we try to be involved in the community that we're in. So that's Drake on the right here. He's our community development person for Columbus, and he is at events and volunteer and just kind of doing his thing in the community. So some organizations that, in Ohio specifically, Columbus Chamber of Commerce, Best Buddies, and Greenbridge are just kind of a couple that we participate in or sponsor in some way. And then, like, again, he'll go to, you know, all the events. I told him I want to go to the Jazz Rib Fest next year with him. So these are just us trying to be good members of the community and not just be a business on the corner, but be a community member. And that's really, it kind of covers the presentation. Here for questions, or Greg, if you want to speak on the permit process.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, on the special permit process, this is, you know, about as easy as it can get for me because it's an already existing store. Zoning was done years ago. This store was not required to obtain a special permit when it originally opened because it actually went through the zoning and got zoning approval prior to the special permit process being added to the ordinance. So what we're doing today is actually requesting that we actually get the special permit itself. The reason for doing that is one that brings us into rather than being a grandfathered use, we become a fully compliant use under the code. Second thing it does is when adult use is written into the Columbus Code, it's actually not covered in the zoning code yet. When it's covered in the zoning code, the Chief Zoning Officer, Shannon Pine for Columbus, has issued a policy, a written policy stating that you don't have to obtain two different special permits, you know, for medical and adult. You know, if you have one, that's good enough for both. Rather than waiting until, you know, the time that becomes available, we agreed with the zoning office just to go ahead and apply for the special permit now. There's nothing changing about the store. It's going to be the exact same layout. There's nothing changing about the products. Products are all the same. Labeling is all the same. The only difference is you see, you know, an additional type of customer other than just medical. So from a zoning perspective, there's really not a change. think that's probably it from our point of view, so happy to answer any questions.
What would happen if you did not get the special permit?
If we don't get the special permit, it's unlikely that we would not get it because according to the zoning office, they are treating this essentially as a non-discretionary approval. As long as you meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance, you will get a special permit, and those are very light. We already met those years ago when we first. But if we didn't get the special permit, we would have to go through the special permit process in the future another time when the adult use ordinance or adult use rules are added to the zoning ordinance.
Which are not yet.
Which are not yet.
And I assume that's coming.
It's coming.
Is this all because the state approved?
Yes.
So now we're in a different category.
Yeah. So, this is what's known as dual use. So we do both medical marijuana and adult use. And all of the zoning units around the state are rewriting their zoning codes just to contemplate adult use. Many of them are just, changing the word from medical marijuana to, dual use, adult use. We're contemplating all three. And so they are not requiring the approval that people may have already obtained for medical use will satisfy. It's just the same approval. We understand that Columbus is going to have both a provision for medical marijuana use and adult use, but also have a separate proviso that says you get one or the other and it counts for both. So.
Thank you.
Okay, where is the actual request on?
So if you go to go to the next page, I believe. So that's the statement in support of the special permit request. And what that says is essentially, we'd like the special permit. There's nothing changing about our use. We're fully compliant. We just want to move from a grandfathered status to compliance, fully compliant status. And the only difference is the issuance of the special permit.
Yeah, and I misunderstood. For some reason, I thought this was a special permit to allow non-medical marijuana.
No, it's actually just for medical marijuana because for the non-medical we can't apply for that yet. Does not exist.
So,
Yeah.
Okay,
so the variance is for medical.
I didn't put that. correctly.
Yes, it's just a special permit request for medical.
So
We just need to change that.
after the committee is done, I will go to the public, I promise you. I just have people raising their hands, I
Oh,
want
yeah,
to let
yeah.
them know that they will have their.
Sure.
So I apologize that I didn't put it correctly on. I need to make sure the CAC knows that. I'll email them because sometimes they take my original agenda and just turn it into their agenda.
Copy paste.
And your application says that Harvest is the applicant, or?
Harvest is the applicant. They're actually the license holder under the state licensing law.
Yes, Harvest of Ohio, DBA, Truly, Columbus High Street.
So I
I'm glad
didn't.
the name on the outside is different than the rest of the
Somebody else
street.
mentioned that at the commission
Yeah.
meeting last month,
It
and they were
confused
so
the whole
happy
neighborhood.
to switch it, and we were more than happy to as well.
Difference between that and pizza.
Yeah, sometimes similar clients.
Well,
There's a Venn diagram that there's overlap.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? And just remember that they're asking for a permit to allow them to do what they're doing now.
Right.
Go, you and then, gentlemen, can you give your name?
Oh, Dave Fisher.
Okay.
A little bit of sidebar. Who is your supplier?
Actually, have Rory, our executive director of wholesale here as well. Rory, can you speak to that?
I can, yeah. So in every state that we operate in, other than this, in Connecticut, we cultivate our own products, we process our own products, and we sell those through our own doors. In addition to that, we'll go out and buy from every other vendor in the state. In Ohio, we currently don't have our own cultivation, so we're buying from any number of the dozens of cultivators and processors in the state. So they're licensed state operators that grow and produce products under sort of the regulated cannabis industry here. We buy those from them and sell it at our doors.
I was just reading an article today in Northern California. Half of the marijuana is black marketed.
There's certainly some case studies on how not to structure a good medical or a rec market. California's one of them, Oregon's one of them, Oklahoma's one of them. Luckily, Ohio is one of the better constructed programs, so we're protected from that. There's a seed to sale tracking system called Metric that makes it very difficult to get anything from outside of the state into the state.
So to Rory's point, like those 3 states he mentioned, truly doesn't operate in those states. So the reason we're in Ohio is because we think Ohio is a well-regulated state.
Your last name, so he has it for the minute?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Rory McLean.
McLean, you got McLean.
One other thing that I'll just add that I think is also unique to cannabis is because it's still federally legal, there's no interstate commerce. So as long as you are avoiding the black market, which we do, everything that you buy in a store in Ohio was grown in Ohio, manufactured in Ohio, it never left the state, it didn't come in from China. It's all Ohio product, and that's true with every legal cannabis state. It's just one of those unique things to cannabis that I like to point out because you can't say that almost about anything else. In Arizona, we're known for citrus, but I'm sure most of our oranges don't come from Arizona at this point, where all of our cannabis that is grown and sold there is within the state. So same in Ohio.
And to piggyback on that, because the real important part, like yes, it's all grown here, but the difference between this program and the black market is the 3 stages of state sort of regulated testing, right? So any product that you walk into the North High Street store and buy has been tested 3 times. So you know that it's guaranteed to be safe.
Thank you. Yeah, you give your name and then.
Yeah, Sue Nelson. I was just concerned about a large corporation is what this sounds like, coming and monopolizing rather than letting local people actually make money on
Sure.
the marijuana. Whether it can a local person have a dispensary, and as far as the buying up the marijuana, the sales.
Sure.
I don't
So-
want to have just a big corporation doing all that.
Sure, so it's actually a very highly regulated process in the state. So this, again, was issued under the medical marijuana law process. And to apply for that, you have to show a certain amount of financial wherewithal. And so there were a number of groups that applied for those licenses. This is the 3rd or the 4th? Round of licenses.
Hey, we're on going into round 4.
Going into round 4. Yeah. So this has been done a number of times. So you've seen all kinds of different groups apply. So this was Harvest Ohio itself, which was the original store, the original owner, was itself
A social equity.
yeah. And it was bought out by Trulieve. But Trulieve is only allowed to have financial interest in 8 stores in Ohio. That's the state mandated cap. So they cannot have a monopoly. There's no one store that can take over, or one company that can take over a large portion of the market.
And that's how Ohio set up the rules.
Unknown caller.
Yeah. And the other thing I should point out is that the original licenses that were handed out, which I believe this was part of the original group, there was a lottery that was involved. So every group that wanted a license put in, they had to put sufficient information in their application to satisfy the requirements of the state. But once they did that, then it was a complete lottery as to who got the licenses.
Okay. I think it just still concerns me that you're in so many states. I'd rather see it more local.
Thank you. Mary Rogers.
So, I understand that this is a request for continuing to do what you have been doing, but based upon what you said, by having this, you won't have to have another conversation when you do decide to sell adult use product. So I would like to know what kind of forecast you have as far as, let's say you're making $1 today in revenue. How much revenue are you expecting increase? I'm not asking you to give me dollars, but are you expecting your revenue to double, triple, quadruple? What is the differential between the medical use and the adult use?
So I gotta push back on one part. So we do sell adult use right now. So it is a full, there is no, we still serve medical patients, but you can, as long as you're 21 plus, you can go to High Street. It's weird zoning jargon that we are selling medical because they're not, they call it non-medical, which is the only city that calls it non-medical ordinance yet. So, and honestly, so we do see a bump in, obviously, when we go to adult use. I can't speak to, is it 10%, 100%, 300%. What I can say is, when we look at other states, I'm from Arizona, so I use it as an example. We had medical from 14 to 21, and we have adult use from 21 to 24. And what I think you're seeing in Ohio will follow Arizona a little bit. You're gonna see an uptick. People are excited. It's a product that used to be illegal, that's now legal. And then it mellows down a little bit where a good majority of the people that were already consuming cannabis for medical purposes are still gonna be our same customers that come in. Really what you end up seeing is in about 5 years, the medical patient count will go down just because they don't wanna go through the hassle of getting a card. So there is increased revenue. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I can't speak to, is it a 50%, 100% bump? It's more of, you're gonna see an influx and then it levels kind of back down.
Well, the nature of my question would be parking related.
Yeah, of course.
So I assume that when you originally came for zoning on your original construction, that you received some kind of parking variance, and now this doesn't seem like a change in use, which normally would come in front of this group, but it does feel like a change in use to me.
No, perfectly, I appreciate that. And so from a business side, we want parking to be as easy as possible. The easier the parking is, the more customers we get. And so we are exploring other options in the area to see how we can get it expanded. We haven't finalized anything yet, so I can't speak more on it. But it is a priority for us as well. We want to be good neighbors, but we also want our customers to be happy that they can come in, get in and out quickly. I was at the store today, just kind of, I ate at Preston's across the street, but watching traffic, seemed like there was always at least a couple streets on High Street, and then the street running east-west had a spot or two. But I'm sure when it went adult use, it was disgusting at that corner. My gut tells me it's going to level off, and you will see an increase in customers and traffic there, but it's not going to be what you saw the first 2 weeks of adult use.
Thank you.
I'm not certain whether they have a parking variance. I'm thinking, trying to find that out. Because it used to be a grocery store.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
When was that? Do you remember?
Remember when
It was a lumber yard before.
That was before I was in cannabis, guys.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, but I'm not seeing.
2021, Harvest of Ohio started
Yeah.
trade on that corner.
And it was vacant for a couple of years before that. It's been many different things.
Well, how many
Started out as a
parking
car
places
lot.
do you have?
So right now, I want to say there's two employee spots, and then on the street there's 4 in front of on High Street, and then 2 to 3 on the east-west street.
I just searched 2950, it's bringing me up too many other. The city's,
Been a couple of things in that.
well,
property.
no, they're also bringing in stuff down
Oh,
the street.
All this,
Right.
anything that's 2950.
Well, 2950 in the High Street, but it's bringing other things on your High Street, I don't understand. Maybe they just haven't gotten their website fully functioning again.
Shocking.
But I'd have to take a look. Do you find out, Diane, whether?
I'm not finding it, but I'm still looking.
Yeah,
You thought it was 2021?
That's when the store opened, but
Then it would be back further.
yeah, it would be back further.
I
That's
think
the other.
to my understanding, you know, there was not a change in the parking lot when the use, or when the zoning was approved, so it was the same kind of parking as the prior use. But you know, if there was a specific variance granted, I wouldn't know.
That is important to someone I can find out. I think I found the zoning map. It just takes a few seconds to.
So it was Crestview Market.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. Yeah.
Man, that had to be 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when they closed the lumberyard down. Really, that was 50 years ago.
It's been a while.
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm not sure this is necessarily directly relevant, but it's been asserted that the level of tetrahydrocannabinol in marijuana now, mainly related to the illegal market, is significantly higher than what people were accustomed to in the 60s and 70s. You talked about the product coming under all kinds of testing by the government. Does it address that issue? And so what is the delta?
So right now, Rory, correct me if I'm wrong, there is no THC cap in Ohio?
There is.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, yeah. Under the medical program, there's a THC cap. Not on flower, right, but on processed products, there's a maximum THC per unit.
So that is a way to combat it. And then the one other, again, comparing what people smoked in the 60s and 70s and now, it is kind of night and day. The science is better, but I will also say the science is safer. What's sprayed on plants now versus what's sprayed on them in illegal places in Mexico and things like that, it's night and day. So some of the without saying medical words, issues that people had in the past were associated with some of those things, so we've been able to fight that. But the other thing about cannabis that is unique is there are those variances of what the percentage of THC is, or how many milligrams you're going to ingest. Everybody gets to be their own patient, and you can take what feels best for you, which might not feel great for somebody else. I am a cannabis consumer, and when I take something compared to somebody else, I can't. They can consume 10 milligrams, and I'm like, hey, I'm good with 1. And so with cannabis, again, compared to like ibuprofen's 200 milligrams, here's your bottle. With cannabis, you get to find what's right for you.
I can't dig it up right away.
So my other book.
Okay, yes, sir.
Dave Daniels. Now, I have to say I've lived on Crestview pretty much my whole life. And the traffic sucks now. It's changed. It got worse when you introduced the, what do you call it?
Adult use?
Adult use. The first 2 days was terrible, which, you know what, we kind of expected it to be. And it did taper off. But the people that come to your store, they tend to park irrationally. They will park in front of my driveway. They will park too close to my driveway. They will park between the two driveways. And it's one of them is your employee.
All right.
And I went down there this morning and I said, you parked your car. I painted the curb yellow. And, oh, I didn't know. I'm not from here. I'm like, okay. She said, I'll move it. I came back about 1 o'clock. Hadn't been moved. That's not good neighbor.
No, I agree.
Okay? The employees park up toward me. That's okay, but don't block driveways. We have gone and painted the curb in hopes that people would realize, hey, that means something, don't park there. Your customers do it too. Some of them get mad when you ask them to move, some of them don't. They go, oh, I'm sorry. you know, I can't tell you can do anything about your customers. But a lot of them are parking right at the edge of the corner where it says, do not park, and there's somebody in there waiting for somebody to come out, and then there's somebody coming down the street, and you can't turn up your own street. Parking is a problem. It has been a problem. It's probably worse than when Crestview Market was there. You got a lot more traffic. And when payday comes, it seems like your business picks up. And I think you're changing your business so you don't want to address the parking issue. You're trying to kind of sneak one in, is what I'm seeing, and saying, well, there's really no change. But there is change because you're selling it to other people than medical.
Yeah, there is adult use now.
And that's creating more traffic. And we don't know if it's gonna change 5 years from now or not. That's what you're projecting, but has your clientele, so let's just say you had 100 people come one day. What's your average? Has it increased?
I don't really have that information. We try not to disclose it, honestly.
Well, no, just to count. How many people come in a day? Has that increased?
I'm sure it has. It has in every other, anytime we go from medical to adult use, we're gonna see an uptick in customers. I'm not sure if it's 5 people or 500.
I would think you would kind of notice by how much you sold.
Again, we try not to really dig into that for these settings. It's more of a accounting.
I would think maybe you should know, but whatever.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
I think that my other neighbor was in Columbia today and he couldn't come, and he'd be here. He's a lot more articulate than I am.
But the GM's number's there, and I will.
I mean, I got pictures.
No, I'm not questioning this.
I know, I'm
for
just
your
telling
house.
you,
Could you get him just make sure you have.
it's really
the pictures
aggravating.
Yeah.
Cause I have to back in my
100, yeah.
driveway, and if there's not room, I'm.
Okay.
No, that's not acceptable.
I think
For sure.
It's not, I mean,
Sir, I think I think this sounds like something they need to work with you on.
well, that aside, I think they're changing the use of the facility.
He'll make sure to get you the location managers.
I usually just walk down, and it hasn't been a problem until today, and she didn't move it.
She had to pick today when I'm here.
Okay. Any other questions?
Maybe you
Could've
can
done it
fix it.
tomorrow, right?
Any other questions from the community or comments from the community? Sorry, couldn't find the last application. Do we have any other questions from the committee? So then the committee, Paulada is not here. I did get one comment, concerns about parking, but the same comments that similar to what I've heard here. Do I have a motion to, no, this goes before the committee on a motion to approve. The chair makes the motion to approve as submitted. So that's now on the floor. Do you have any, you can sit down if you want. They might have questions for you.
Sure.
Now it's open for discussion on the committee. Do you have any other questions? Okay, no, and you can give comment, and then we're ready for a vote. Start, Sharon.
Yes. Do you need a second?
Oh, no, I don't, because our rules, the application automatically, the chair makes the motion, it goes to the floor.
Yes.
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 And the chair votes yes as well. Any comments to go to the commission?
Oh, wait, though, but make sure that you cross out the non-medical part.
Okay.
on the-
Well, I think I think that formally you are saying the formal application is for,
Yeah, the formal application is for medical use.
okay,
Right,
then
so
I will
we
make
can
sure that,
delete
Section of
that.
code you link to only references medical use.
Yeah.
So until they've changed the code.
okay, yes, okay, then I will make sure that when the minutes go to the commission, the minutes will say that it's medical.
Sure. And if, I could mention one more thing, if there's anybody else that would like the phone number or contact information for the manager, I'll be available after the meeting, so please let me know. We'll get that to you.
You can show up for the commission meeting next week if they haven't been responsive. This goes before the commission a week from tomorrow, 7 p.m. at the Whetstone. Well, the meeting starts at 7 p.m. at the Whetstone Library.
And I hope maybe you can collaborate a little bit with the neighbors, see if we can solve this or at least mitigate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you. You're welcome to stay and listen to Cat Welfare's proposal. You're welcome to.
Do you like cat?
You're welcome.
They gave a great presentation at the last commission meeting, so
Yeah.
you guys are
We won't be offended if you decide you want to.
You let us know first this time. So I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Now, pulling up the next application for, there we are, for 625 East North Broadway. And the reason there isn't a number on this is with the permission of the chair, it was announced last commission meeting, because of the email issues that the city was having, we waived the rule that said that we have to receive an email copy of the application from the city. And that was, we thought, we didn't want to force people to depend on city email when it was crashing. And so, the same thing as before, we'll let Cat Welfare go forward with their application. It is to, and this is to print a cat shelter in an institutional zone, no other changes. So you have the floor.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, guys. Hi. We're back. Before we start, I wanted to tell you, we did get it sent to the city, and I did get confirmation that it was processed.
Okay.
But we haven't gotten the bill, the $2,500 fee, and we haven't gotten the sign to post either. And we really need those two. Right, and it's just waiting, so I contacted, and I will go 2 or 3 days without getting any reply, so I don't know if you have any pull or sway with them.
I'm pretty sure you can pay online through the portal.
They have to send it to us, they have to invoice us first, we can't pay, we wanna pay. Because that means that they have it, we're done, we can go.
I think I think they might be going with, they say they're not more slowly than usual, but when I got on today and searched, one thing is setting up, but every time I set out an agenda now to make sure I don't miss anything, I always search for all new zoning applications in 43202 and 43214. And there was one that went all the way back to August 14th that I haven't received from the city yet.
Oh, wow.
And they said, so it may, I don't know what's going on with that. So they haven't even emailed me, they haven't even,
Okay.
and they say that that's normal batch processing, but I don't remember ever seeing something that long ago.
And this is council variance.
This is a council
Possible
variance.
they wouldn't hear it next month anyway, they're that far behind.
Don't know.
I know what
The
you
floor,
mean.
we understand what's going on, so go ahead with your proposal.
Oh, okay. I'm Amy Blank, I'm on the board of directors at Cat Welfare, and this is,
I'm Jay Matthew, I'm one of the co-presidents.
Yeah, Cat Welfare's been in Clintonville and established in 1945. So we've been in Clintonville a long time. We've switched a few buildings, but this would be a really big move for us. And while it does allow, without a variance, a vet hospital to be there, so we were close, it does not allow for a cat shelter. And so, you know, with us, that was kind of where the rub is a little bit. But as far as, you know, it also allows for a school. At one point, part of this building was industrial, and the other was offices when it was originally built, so it does allow, I guess, for that. But we are looking for a quiet place to go, and this really fits this. We would be going from just a little over 1/8 of an acre to 1 1/4 acres. And we would have 54 parking spots, which you guys gotta be so jealous.
They're going for $20,000 a month.
It's a little bit of a walk.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
they can move it.
I was like, so it really would enable us to do more community work and have community events. And also make it a little safer for anybody who wants to ride their bike or walk to the shelter. The shelter is always open for petting and visitation so you can come in and pet and visit. It's kind of like a little cat cafe, but you can adopt them too. But we are more than a shelter. We do work with smaller rescue groups and helping them. We are the largest subsidizer of spay-neuter programs. And we spend close to $900,000 a year.
Yes.
Close to that on subsidizing spay-neuters for homeless cats, community cats.
And feral.
And feral cats, for all of that. Yeah, so we're more than just a shelter. We try to really work and support the community with that. And I brought a bunch of information. We weren't exactly looking for a property when this came up, but it kind of, Lisa, one of our presidents, said we need to go look at this, and we were like, oh, not now. But we did, and it's a very unique property. I think because half of it was industrial at one time and half are offices, it suits our needs unlike any other office building would. Some of the quirky things that it has are exactly what we need, like sinks in almost every room or every part of the building. That's huge. That saves us a ton of money. We don't have to run plumbing to have all of the hand wash sinks to prevent cross-contamination. So it has, it just has some really unique features. Even we do have part of the building that's below grade, but it has egress through the windows where everybody can get out. If they're in a room, there's a window they can just pop out. So we really want this building because of its unique features. It's not like any other office building.
Well, it also satisfies, we want to serve more cats, and to do that, we need more space. Building where, in addition to where our existing building is, we've run into a lot of zoning permits issues, storm sewer issues, parking spots, a lot of things. So this is actually going to be cheaper than what we had thought of. And this has been going on. We've been wrestling with this since what, 2017, 2016?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So we're ready to act upon our wishes, but we can't do it unless we get this variance that allows us to make that a shelter. We would have to do a lot of interior work to bring it up to shelter quality flooring, shelter quality walls, all of those things, the same thing we've done to our existing locations. So we've last two, we've been there, we know what we're headed towards. The electrical is much better than we expected. The plumbing is beautiful. We're coming in so much under what we originally planned on, what we were going to spend, that we immediately will hit the ground running once all the construction and everything is done. And we'll be able to, we're looking to add 100 cats to our inventory. That's a third larger.
Well, we're doubling the space.
We're doubling the
Absolutely
space, right. We're going from 5,400 square feet to 10,784 or something.
Close to 11,000.
Yeah. And we've got a lift from ground level to what would be the personal public floors.
ADA compliant.
ADA compliant.
Really
We have
important
bathrooms
to us.
that are ADA compliant
Right.
already.
Our adoption floor will be ADA compliant.
Yes.
So
we're just here on one knee, maybe asking for your
asking if we could do that. No
if we
changes.
can continue to serve not only Clintonville but the entire central Ohio.
Yeah, we wouldn't be changing the outside of the building, but we do need to alter the inside of the building quite a bit. And I'll kind of address one question I had at previous meeting is that somebody had asked, unless you kind of are familiar with shelters, is that there is a protocol and a way of how a shelter is run. We don't just take in cats, they're by appointment only, and ways of cleaning to prevent cross-contamination, space per cat. So it's not like we just kind of, I think they were worried that we just kind of crammed cats in there, and that's not how it's run at all. We are unique because we do have, after the cats have been there and they've been acclimated, they do roam free around the shelter. And we hope.
And like she said earlier, we encourage visitation.
Always.
So just.
They get depressed without attention, so we have a volunteer staff for anyone to
Well,
come in and just give them
Plus, we
personal
have paid
attention.
staff too, it's not all
We do.
volunteers, so we have people that are professionally there, that's their job. And that way we can maintain the cleanliness standards we've established and the care and feeding of the cats that we've established.
Were you planning on enclosing one of the neighbors was concerned?
Yeah, she did. I brought information on that. What that is it's an established patio, so we wouldn't be making a patio. We would be using a patio that's already there to enclose it for the cats. She did, I brought handouts.
Just one neighbor, the immediate neighbor, I asked whether she was here, isn't here,
And also,
was concerned about.
When the survey was done, our property line runs down the middle of the driveway.
That's interesting.
Anyway, she was concerned about enclosing the patio.
So she can get her car once.
Or here, I can
Two
wheels
pass
over
them
here.
out, that might be quicker.
I'm gonna have my car to drive down there.
Let's put the minutes in.
And there's a severe elevation difference between where her driveway is and where our property is.
That's okay. But we'll also, we can share. Well,
Okay.
I think this stuff, this from the revised. Oh, this is the.
The building is currently occupied by two businesses. The business that owns the building is an engineering firm. They also have in there an architect firm that rents lower level space. Am I right, Dan? Yes, sir. Okay. We plan on allowing the architects, if we go forward with this, the architect firm will be allowed to stay there with a 30-day eviction.
Second floor.
No, they're down on the lower level.
Sir, we'll go to questions from the public in a minute. So.
But anyway, we will become the lessor for them until we need to redo that space.
Any questions from the committee?
The cats stay inside?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the cats.
They don't get.
There's no free roaming.
Free
Well,
roaming.
No free roaming. Hopefully there's not. There's occasionally an escapee, but everything is done to return them to the jail.
I wanted to know about, is there history to this building here?
No.
No. What did it used to be?
There is a Bible printing.
Yeah, this is a Bible.
Bible print.
Yes.
They sold Bible in the church across the world.
Okay.
And we have a little cathedral in this place.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, with a little sanctuary.
Little
You go in
sanctuary.
and pray for yourself.
It has
Yeah.
some great features like vaulted ceilings and it's really
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
What I wanted to show you on
They
this one
represented it like this.
is if you want to look at this one, I took some pictures today. What is the existing patio is kind of in the nook of the building's a T. It's kind of in the nook, and I wanted to show, this is where the end
Yeah, there
of
you
the
go.
patio, where the edge of the patio would be, and you go down that slope, and that would be her driveway. And then if you go, the picture on the left, over the shrubs, back there is where her patio is that she said it would disturb her. And so they're not level, so they're not eye to eye. It's this to this.
So what are you gonna do with this patio now?
Enclose it.
Potential to enclose.
Just enclose it and let
Well,
cats
you
sit
know,
out there.
it'll be
The outside.
secured enclosure, let the cats get some fresh air.
You're not talking about climatized, it's like,
No,
it's like
no.
screened,
Like screen.
a screened enclosure, not.
Or chain
or
link,
chain link
Chain.
possibly, but if it doesn't look
They're
good, we're
tougher
happy to,
secure at the bottom, but
we're happy to plant some shrubs. As much as she wants privacy, we do too. And I mean, one of the things that we like about this location is that it's quiet, and we want to keep it that way. I will add that our hours are 11 to 3:30, 6 days of the week. So people are there 12 hours a day, the staff taking care of the cats. But it's open for adoption from 11 to 3:30 every day except Wednesdays, where we're open from 11 to 7. So it shouldn't be disruptive to the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, you
Okay,
said
sir,
11 to 3?
11 to, sorry, no, I'm sorry. 11 to, they said 11 to 3:30 most days, except for Wednesday, 11 to 7.
You're not looking for
Yes.
customers, are you?
Sir, we'll have a
Okay.
chance, I promise you
That's a
there will be
problem
public
I
comment.
have.
Okay, go ahead.
But just that I think we will be quiet and have every intention of being very good neighbors.
Well, I would suggest when you do the
we call it catio.
Catio. To do some screening here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get that.
And then she'd probably be
Yeah.
happier.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
You probably would like them to bring screening.
Yeah,
Well,
so we plan on talking to her.
The cats are curious. You know, the ones they have now, they just see everybody. If they come up to the edge, they want to talk to everybody that goes by.
Oh, yeah, because we currently have an outside place.
So you're going to be leaving your present location?
We will completely move,
Not both locations?
not
No.
both locations.
Logistics prevent that.
We're probably gonna hold on to that building for a while, just to make sure,
Right.
and see how it goes, see if we possibly need it, but yeah, it's a complete pick up and move.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from Andrea, then,
Is there any anticipated impact to the sanitary system in the area?
No.
How do you dispose of the cat sanitary?
It's cleaned every day, put in a dumpster, and it's picked up multiple times a week.
We did look into that
We
too.
did also.
This is kind of a strange thing, but I expected our dumpster to reek. But it's clay litter that absorbs odors, and so it actually doesn't. It probably on 100 degree temperature today. But we already looked into that, and there's dumpster cleaning service. So, we would absolutely use a dumpster cleaning service. I think we already do, but they come and clean it, make sure. Yeah.
3 times a week, you said?
Oh, pickup,
Multiples.
yeah.
Pickup is multiple times a week, and also on demand. If we have some abnormal thing, the shelter manager will.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I heard you say a couple of times that it's gonna be quiet. And I drove back there today because I couldn't picture this. But you're along the railroad tracks there, and you are there, you can see Smith Broadway, and it's Indianola up there. What makes it quieter? I'm just curious.
Oh, compared to where we are now.
As compared to where we are now, we're closer to the railroad tracks. We have no natural foliage that blocks us. So,
And we're
to
surrounded
us,
by businesses.
and we're surrounded by businesses. We're off of East North Broadway far enough. The only thing that's going to interrupt is the constant flow heading towards Riverside of squads and stuff.
Okay.
I've ridden down that street.
Okay.
But that mural, that beautiful mural, after you come under that, we're above that, so I didn't really get that much sound from North
It's more
Broadway
the
from
train.
there. What?
It's more the trains.
Yeah, but they're-
But you get used to that, because
Yeah.
you've already been through it.
It's, believe it or not, tons quieter than.
Yes, it is much quieter.
Okay, now,
Can you just have one comment about the location of the dumpster, is that it won't be on the side of the houses, it'll be on the
can you
side
give
of
your,
the
can you give your name, sir?
Lisa Strickland,
Okay,
I'm with
thank
Cat Welfare Board as well.
Okay, and can you repeat that?
The location of the dumpster, just so that you'll know, it's not gonna be near the residential area, it'll be on the other side of the building.
True, yes.
Yes.
Is it on the site plan?
It might not be, if you go to the survey, it's actually a little better than the site
Yeah,
plan.
the site plan doesn't quite cover it because there's another street that's closed off right here.
Yeah, go to that, no, oh, before that one, go to that one. That's better.
So this is, I made it bigger so people could see.
So it's,
Okay. Which way we got north? North going that way.
Yeah.
All my
So
cars-
actually,
cars off.
watch, there we go, how about that?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's better.
So where's this dumpster?
so where's the dumpster?
Dumpster right now
Oh,
There's
it
no
goes in-
dumpster
is right there, but we plan on it being
Putting it
over
in
here.
that
So
corner.
the refuse pickup will just come straight back from North Broadway.
So
get it.
by the railroad track?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the railroad
And
tracks.
just, see that, there's a walking entrance from Clinton Heights back here.
Yeah, it's an old street that's been telephone poled off, I guess.
Yeah, there's weeds growing up on it, but you can, I walked through it. Any other comments? Mary? Okay, you have some.
Oh, I have questions, but I'm gonna let Dave ask questions first.
Well, my question is, you know, that parking lot has been used as a playground. There are more people that have learned to ride their bikes in that playground than any other single.
I don't see us needing all the spaces there.
Well, it usually starts after 5 o'clock.
Well, that's fine.
Yep, that's
We-
fine.
I
we
guess
get to
I'm
tackle
curious
it
about
each
your hours, 11 to 3.
It's being discussed, and I agree with you. You can ask the other board members here. I've been very
Vocal.
I mean, you really don't want to get rid of cats if you're only open for 4 hours.
well. 4 hours is all. You only need 20 minutes for a cat to find.
Well, I
its
know,
own.
but you have people
The
that come
problem
in.
you've got is get it open
Well-
when people are available.
Oh my God, when do people work?
Well, the other thing is that most adoptions don't happen in the same day.
That's right.
And so it's usually because we do, checks with them and we have
Checks with
mandatory
their
landlord
vet-
checks, vet
landlord,
checks.
veterinary checks.
So it takes us more than a day
Nobody
to
gets in
approve them. So
unscrutinized.
it doesn't matter as
Do
much.
they apply online then?
They can apply online.
They can, do they?
Yes, we're
Yes.
getting, we're getting the applications online. Yes.
Well, I'm looking at,
How many do you need? We can take
Do
care of
you need some cats?
No, heavens
No,
no.
Oh, everybody needs
I'm
at
a
least
dog
3.
person.
But they're great entertainment for dogs.
Do you have,
No, really.
do you have other questions? If you, Mary?
So I have a few questions. One, you mentioned community events. What kind of community events? Are we talking about thousands of people,
No.
hundreds of people,
No.
10 people,
20, 30,
20
40.
people? Okay.
Yeah,
And so these events usually happen indoors with the cats
They
as
do.
opposed to outside.
like we have, a Valentine's Day event which is indoor, of course, it's in February. And then a fall open house, that's also indoors. I think in the summertime, we might have,
We have in the
Something we
past,
have in
we
the
did not
past.
this year.
um,
We have an outdoor,
like a summer.
a summer program. We've even had musicians. We always try to point it towards the railroad, so the noise would be away from residents.
Yeah, these events, whenever we hold events, they're usually about 2 hours long. They're short.
And then I assume because of the nature of this endeavor that you have a significant donor base. Do you have any idea where the bulk of your donors live?
We've got a database.
Okay, and so is it, are they predominantly Clintonville? Are they predominantly
They're
California?
Predominantly they are from Clintonville
Okay.
or
And then
Central Ohio.
Columbus.
Okay.
A lot of them were business magnates, and we've got a lot of testimonial bequeathments that we received from other people that have adopted cats from cat welfare and have been satisfied with what we do. We have a 30-day return policy. If we adopt out to you a cat that suddenly becomes sick,
Crazy.
well, they're all crazy. You have to be crazy to have a cat. Trust me, I've been doing this. I'm actually a TNR rescue person. I'm unique to cat welfare. I'm the first person they've ever had that does what I do. I just took cat number 1,396 to surgery today. So I keep saying I'll quit at 1,400. But we take care of communities. We have also, I know I have spoken to community groups about community cats. There's 500,000 of them in Franklin County that are just out there. People move, they'll take their dogs, they'll turn their cats loose. So anyway, it's a big problem, and we're trying to help it with subsidizing spay and neuters.
One thing that we do differently is we are here for stray cats only. We do not rehome. If somebody's pet and they don't want it anymore, we don't do that. We always take our own cats back, even if it's, the owner dies or if they can't take it with them. We'll always accept our own cats back.
Or if something happens terrible,
Sure.
The owner suddenly became really ill and unable to, we take the cat back.
And what I was going to say about that is we're the only shelter that takes cats that are injured or sick. We take them immediately without an appointment. We try to get appointments. We have appointments. You can't show up with a cat and get it in that day.
You just don't get any help.
It just doesn't. But we ask anybody who's bringing in a cat, it has to be a scheduled time so that we have somebody, a vet tech there to evaluate the cat. But we are the only ones that I know of that take emergency injured or sick cats.
And pregnant.
And pregnant cats. We take them all. Other shelters, we are no kill. Other shelters do put those cats down, usually due to cost. As long as we can get that cat back to where it's no longer suffering and can live a good life, then we will spend whatever it takes to get the cat to that place.
We do have several permanent residents at our shelter because they came in sick or they came in, had to have a leg removed. You get a cat in peril, they're always harder to find a home for. So we don't turn them away, we don't do them under.
So my last question is probably really more for the committee. So the zoning change that's being asked is the difference between, let's say, call it a cat hospital and a shelter. So what are the offensive activities that are causing you to have this change?
I understand it's a cat, you can do a vet, but you can't do a cat shelter.
It's housing of animals.
But why is that considered by the zoning code to be
They're just
lesser desirable?
Yeah. Well, was it desirable or less desirable or never thought of?
I don't know.
That's just what it said, that isn't allowed as its own, so if they want to allow it, they have to go to city council.
But is there some other zoning classification that allows for a cat shelter?
Yeah, C4 commercial.
Okay, so this is now a C.
This is an I.
This is
It's
an
an
I
I,
institutional.
but a C4 would allow you to do what you do.
Almost anything you want.
Right, so
Except
we would
fast
have
food.
to, which we have up to this point, had to be in commercial areas, which isn't what's best for the cat or adoption or parking.
So that's it, Sandy Simbro.
Sandy Simbro. So I'm kind of piggybacking on Mary because I'm sitting here going, okay, veterinary hospital versus the cat shelter. The veterinary hospital, they take dogs, and they bark and they're annoying. I'm a dog lover. Sorry. But I'm like going, it seems to me that industrial is a much more intense use than C4. So it just seems to me this is, while Zone in Columbus is worried about housing, warehousing people, we just want to warehouse some cats. And
Temporarily, because we adopt them out.
Well, this is true, and unless the fishers are gonna stay up late at night worried about the cats, cause the cats are gonna be in the fishers' front yard, right? This is kind of like,
If I can
Probably has
suggest,
something to do with turnover.
So, what-
With, you know, like
Okay.
the hospital, they're in for this and they're out.
except that
I-
a lot of vets do have overnight.
I think, but if they do overnight, then they have to deal with this. I think overnight is what I'm told. Overnight triggers
Housing,
this.
yeah.
Housing is different. If they want a housing, they have to have different variance. Sir, are you with the applicant?
I think I am, I'm Dan Sharon.
Yeah.
I'm the listing agent for the property, and these have become my friends here over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Their mission in life is very admirable. It's currently institutional, not
Institutional,
industrial.
okay.
It's a big difference. Institutional.
Okay,
And the institutional zoning allows for some fairly noxious, as we like to call it, uses. Daycare, for example, you could have a daycare there. I think you could even have like auto
She's a
repair.
daycare
we
teacher.
have
I'm not a
over
daycare, I'm a.
Well, daycare's
Retired.
come with a host of
Retired.
challenges, like
I know,
traffic,
kids are a lot noisier.
kids, and it's a fairly intrusive type of use.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shelter definition, I think why they did, probably the zoning fathers didn't include shelters is because it kind of opens up to a lot of different animals. And dogs, obviously, and I volunteered at a number of shelters where dogs are kept outside during the day, and all the neighbors, they know it, and they hear it, it's daily. The veterinarian clinic could allow some boarding, but that's normally a separate session if you want to do boarding as well as animal care. You kind of cross that line. So probably cats, they probably couldn't differentiate cat shelter and dog shelter, so they just didn't include shelters at all.
But
She's
this
put-
application is specifically for a cat shelter.
I just checked, it would convert office space to a cat shelter.
Okay.
That's-
And
So
to-
only cat.
just to clarify on
Yes.
the catio,
Domestic cats,
the space that
not
they're intending.
tigers.
There's separate code sections for wild animals. I did a case, I read a case where I could tell you all the definitions.
You're assuring us that there will
And
never
wild
be a
animals are
big
different,
cat.
yes. They're certainly very.
Not if they want me in.
Maine Coon is as big as we can expect.
Go ahead.
The space for the catio is originally, as Mr. Fisher indicated, part of the sanctuary part of the building, and it's right off the chapel. So it's very secluded with a very, very low-hanging tree that's adjacent, and it's probably conservatively as tall as I am, probably a 6 to 8 foot elevation change from the driveway up to the patio space. It's actually very pretty. There's an outside structure there that's probably used for an altar at one point in time. So I don't think the neighbor's really gonna see or even know that the catio is there, frankly. And I think they plan on doing some screening, which should alleviate any of those challenges.
Could have a cat thief.
No,
Okay.
Okay, we're stealing that.
Bring it in.
I think we're trying to. Do we have any other,
Thank you.
any no punny comments that are directly related to the application?
What is the structure? I'm not quite sure. Are you buying the building?
Yes,
Okay, and so you're subleasing it to.
for a while,
For a while,
potential,
to the architectural firm.
yes.
Okay.
As a transition.
It's just, we've got a lot of post-closing issues we have to go through. We don't expect it to be, I want to see it open and operating before my tenure on the board, which ends at the 2025.
Do we have any
Oh,
comments?
yeah.
Do we have any comments from people who haven't had a chance to speak yet? I'm sorry, I think now we need to bring it back to the committee discussion. And then, I'll put the motion on the floor, motion to approve on the application as submitted on the floor. Do we have any comments? That's open for discussion by the committee members. You can sit down.
Anything there?
Okay, good, then call for a vote, I'll start with.
Yes.
Had no idea.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, it's recommended approval to the CAC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unanimously. I think the last two items of the agenda we'll put to next month. We will have at least, we have 2 or 3 applications I know coming. Again, this goes before the CAC next Thursday. Their meeting starts at 7. The zoning agenda typically doesn't start till after 8, but if you show up at 8 for the zoning agenda, that'll be the one time they get to it sooner. So be there at 7 o'clock for that. So if there are any other questions, do you have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
All in favor? Any opposed? Approved unanimously.